This episode of the Gentleman Scofflaw podcast is brought to you by Patreon and the Gentleman Scofflaw merchandise page. Go to gentlemanscofflaw.com. In the menu, click the support or shop links to help support the show.
You are listening to the Gentleman Scofflaw podcast. Listener beware.
Rise and shine, the liquor store is open. I ain't got time for moping. I best be on my way. Well, I still got time to save my reputation. Time to go day drinking in this dirty little town.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Gentleman Scofflaw podcast, the podcast for the rebel and the Renaissance man. I'm your host, Jordan Crowder. Co-hosting with me, as per usual, is the Donovan Fowler. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. You know, when you rage and you shake your head back and forth, and then you're wearing a white shirt.
Oh no!
And you look down and you find a few stray hairs.
Oh no! Oh geez!
Never a good feeling.
That's
but
violent.
Whatever.
I thought you were going to say you were sweating and you're looking like a wet t-shirt contest. It's one of the reasons why I can't wear shirts is how much white shirts is how much hair I've got underneath.
That is a weird thing in the sense of like I find sometimes I'll have that with performance wear shirts in the because there was a whole thing with Andrew Cuomo wore like a tight shirt at some point during the COVID crisis. He was wearing a weird active wear polo, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was speculating on whether he had pierced nipples or not because it was weirdly there was little anyways, it just looked weird. And I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, I totally get that. That just means you have hair
yeah, everywhere.
Those areas.
You got little curlies around your nipples.
Topic to start the show out.
Yeah, it's a real problem. It's a real problem. My roommate, by the way, in college always used to wear. He was like a cartoon character. All he had were performance fabric polo shirts. That's all he would wear.
Hey man, whatever gets the job done is what I say. Being in Kansas City again and feeling how flippin' humid it is. A lot of people understand ranging from, you've been in Texas. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like I will just trade in any and all my clothes for performance wear. Yeah.
The problem is that stuff stinks when it gets when you sweat in it. At least my stuff just you can never wash it out. It just stays trapped in there.
I don't know,
and then it reactivates when you sweat again, and it's like the new sweat mixes with the old sweat.
I think they have scientists working on this as we speak.
If anybody listens to us or watching on YouTube and you have that same problem, leave a comment. Let us know how you deal with that.
Isn't it like merino wool? They've come up with weird stuff that goes into underwear nowadays. They'll weave in silver or something to keep odor from it's odor whatever
antimicrobial.
Yeah. That's it. That's what we're talking about. I don't know, man.
I had a friend whose dad sold antimicrobial socks for a living, and it was when they were a new thing. And
it ain't much, but it's honest work.
He was always promoting antimicrobial socks.
He may have been ahead of the game because I bet you if we Googled antimicrobial shirts, I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, definitely. We continue with the housekeeping here. Our next installment of Junk Whiskey June. What do we got today, Donovan?
We got good old Jim Beam.
Good old friend. See, you keep buying the whole bottles.
You know why?
Because I got the little tiny sample bottle.
I need the magic juice, man. I need it. No. This one is officially endorsed by the Kansas City Royals. Apparently. Okay. I just saw that and I was like, okay. I guess I'll buy you.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just filling out my shelf, man. I've got tequila and bitters back there.
Yeah. Man, looks like you're planning on staying in Kansas for a while then, huh? Or is that just a week's worth?
This will last me. To quote Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. So how many drinks do you have a week? One. So one drink, one shelf. Anyways,
One shelf. That's good. I forgot about that.
Of damage. I did a lot of damage on Kentucky bourbon on Monday night, or I should say Trader Joe's Kentucky bourbon on Monday night. Oh, no. So it's time to switch things up with the Jim Beam.
Let's try the Jim Beam. I'm going to pour it into my glass. I've got my glass with a king cube in there, which we'll talk about a little later. By the way, before we get into this is a special episode. This is our Father's Day gift guide, gifts and gadgets for dads and doojits. This is our second annual.
So bad.
We've done gift guides for Father's Day, Christmas in the past. A lot of you guys have been fans of them, and even given us ideas for stuff in the future that we've used. So thank you for that. And we're just going to start off a little bit of housekeeping, then we'll get into that guide.
Hell yeah, we will.
Oh man!
So yeah, I think
smells
this is good.
really
Wait,
sweet.
But you put ice in yours?
Well, yeah, I
don't think you can properly taste it with the ice.
I couldn't find my Glencairn glass. I think my wife washed them and put them away somewhere. I can't find them.
You'll be able to give a proper review of it on the rocks. I'll give the neat review.
I'll give the on the rocks version.
Welcome back to On the Rocks with Jordan Crowder.
So it smells really sweet. At first taste, to me, it comes off very harsh. It doesn't have as much taste as a Jack Daniels, though.
I feel like the nose, as they say, doesn't come off as strong as some other bourbons, which this is a bourbon, by the way. But yeah, let's dive into the taste.
That's just for our listeners there, so that they can get some sound effects instead of dead air.
What was that? Actually, that's a good point. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Well, you poor bastard stuck in traffic.
What the hell's going on here?
Yeah. They're like, oh, that freaking thing stopped again. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know what it was, but something just hit me when I took the first sip, and it wasn't typical of what I've had in many bourbons before. Let me try it again.
Yeah, it does have a bite to it. It's definitely, I wouldn't call it a smooth bourbon. I think it'd be a good mixer because it's got some bite to it for sure. Almost a little bit of bitterness, which I'm not used to in bourbon, but I also brushed my teeth half an hour ago, so it could be that.
Jeez, you're the worst sommelier ever. You may not want to take this at face. You may want to take this at face value. I did brush my teeth a half an hour ago.
Well, I'm creating a real world scenario, right?
I don't know.
Maybe you brush your teeth before you go out on a date, and then you order some Jim Beam at the bar. Will it go well 30 minutes after brushing your teeth?
That's a good point. I don't know. Will it go well? Does it pair well with Colgate Extra White? I don't know, man. I don't know what that was that just hit me straight out of the bottle. I'm not going to try to, bullshit my way through it and like say that I know, but yeah, it definitely has. It's an 80 proof. So that's 40% alcohol, and it has a nice balance between kind of a little bit of a, I guess, to me, there's a little bit of mellowness at the start, and then you definitely get the bitter bite by the end.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But oh man,
I guess I would give it if I was giving it out of 10 Glencairn glasses, I would give it a 6.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say so. I mean, I just hold other bourbons so close to my heart already, and even like Jack Daniels, I was surprised. But the main thing about Jack Daniels, I'm still so impressed by, and this just shows what a whore I can be, is the bottle. Like honestly, the bottle, I'm just like, oh, it's such a beautiful bottle. I just want that on my shelf.
Jim Beam looks a little dainty, even though it's a similar.
When you have when you've shrunk it down to, honey, I shrunk the bottle. That'll happen. I agree, though. I agree that this bottle, it's almost a little bit more on the level of, it's not even quite Evan Williams, because Evan Williams has a little bit of different design
Yeah.
than this. But this is like somewhere between the Evan Williams bottle and the Jack Daniels. So let's just read a quick description of Jim Beam for the folks. So, brought to you by Wikipedia. Jim Beam is an American brand of bourbon whiskey produced in Claremont, Kentucky by Beam Suntory, which sounds like a company that from one of the Alien movies. It is one of the best-selling.
Did you say Suntory, like the Japanese whiskey?
Yeah. So apparently Suntory Holdings purchased it in 2014, which I'm not super jazzed about. I kind of wish that our American bourbons remained American, but maybe I'm just a xenophobe. I don't know.
It's possible.
It is one of the best-selling brands of bourbon in the world. Since 1795, interrupted by Prohibition, 7 generations of the Beam family have been involved in whiskey production for the company that produces the brand. The brand name became Jim Beam in 1943. It used to be called Old Tub, in honor of James B. Beam, who rebuilt the business after Prohibition ended. Previously produced by the Beam family and later owned by Fortune Brands Holding Company, the brand was purchased by Suntory Holdings. So it's been out of the Beam family for a while. One thing that I found interesting is apparently the Beams have a lot to do with Heaven Hill Distillery, which is like a very famous distillery in Kentucky and does a lot of bourbon distilling.
Don't they do a lot of like blends for a lot of famous brands? They're all blended in that one distillery. Yeah.
So it says the Beam family has played a major role in the history of the Heaven Hill Distillery. All the master distillers at Heaven Hill since its founding have been members of the Beam family. So that's cool. I didn't know Knob Creek apparently was one of the Beam's like specialty bourbons. Yeah. Same with Basil Hayden's, Baker's and Booker's also. This was kind of a funny story, but also seemingly tragic. And this happened twice, actually.
Oh, no.
On August 4th, 2003, a fire destroyed a Jim Beam aging warehouse in Bardstown, Kentucky. It held 15,000 barrels, which translates into 795,000 U.S. gallons of bourbon. Flames rose more than 100 feet from the structure. Burning bourbon spilled from the warehouse into a nearby creek or crick, wherever you come from.
It's
an
creek.
Estimated... Hey, you don't know where our listeners are, you elitist prick. Come down the creek.
Is it prick or preek?
I had to, yeah. But okay, so burning bourbon spilled from the warehouse into a nearby creek. An estimated 19,000 fish died of the bourbon in the creek in the river.
Man, I didn't expect that.
On July 3rd, 2019, another warehouse caught ablaze, which destroyed around 45,000 barrels, 2,385,000 gallons of bourbon, which is just a damn shame. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what kind of bourbon
I don't care who you are.
Just freaking shame. The fire led to the spillage of bourbon in the Kentucky River and Glens Creek. Learning from the 2003 fire, it was decided not to use water, letting it burn itself out to reduce runoff into the ecosystem. The estimated cost of the fire to the Beam Suntory was around $45 million.
Oh, jeez. Holy crap.
Man, oh, man.
You know, it must have been fun for those fish to go out that way, though. At least they would have been happy.
They'd be super, I'm sure they'd be super jazzed. Also, I'd just be in that creek or crick fishing.
Just with your mouth open.
I'd just be there eating the fish raw, just being like, it tastes like Jim Beam.
I wonder how those grilled fish would taste.
I'm going to take one final taste of this and actually try to get some tasting notes off of it because I feel like I was so thrown off the first time.
I will say, for me, it's gotten better as it's watered down a little bit. It's weird because it's not strong in terms of alcohol strength, but the flavor is strong, and I think needs to be mellowed out with some ice.
Yeah. I don't know. It's almost like I get a little bit of, and this is once again, I suck at this. Full disclaimer, folks, I suck at this, but I get a little bit of like sweetened coffee.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know if any sommelier would back that up, but that's like the one note that I'm getting off of this bourbon. So maybe, if you're having if you're having a questionable day off the start, maybe you mix a little bit of Jim Beam in your coffee.
A little bit in your coffee. No one will ever have to know. Which brings.
Also, don't. I take no responsibility for what happens after you do that.
Let's go to a little segment. We'll segue into this because it also has to do with Junk Whiskey June, but it's called
Listener Mail.
All right, so we put it out to you on Instagram for Junk Whiskey June. We asked you, what were your favorite bourbons from the bottom shelf? And you guys had a bunch of comments here. I'm sorry, for some reason I minimized my window and it's making it tiny. There it is.
Yeah, I also fell asleep on the job and let Instagram go away on my phone.
No.
So this is embarrassing.
All right. Well, I'll read that first one there. I don't know if this is from the bottom shelf, but maybe it's possible that that they misunderstood the post. First post from Mike Andersonman, who's written in to us before. He says, "How can you go wrong with the Balvenie Caribbean cask? A bit above the bottom shelf, though." Well, he did.
Okay, so at least he admits it.
Yeah, at least he admits it.
Well, wait a minute. What's the what is the? Let's just do a quick search on that. Let's just see Balvenie.
Yeah.
What's the starting price on that? Balvenie.
I've bought Balvenie before at Costco, and like just the regular one was like $40, I think, to get started.
I don't think I've ever had it.
$50 maybe, 60.
I have had Caribbean cask whiskey before, and actually, this is making me crave it. I always love when these websites ask me my age, because I always like put that I was born on July 4th, 1776. Because they let you well, actually no, they're not gonna let me do that, but I did say that I was born in 1864 on the I think Jack Daniel's website, and they were like, okay. Like, sure, you're in.
What I want to know though is, what is that site, what is that little thing doing preventing people from, like, how does that keep kids off the site, and what is there on the site that would be like, they're just gonna look at bourbon bottles, like they can't drink it.
You know that, like, you're not gonna, you're not gonna deter anybody.
Surprisingly enough, on our listener mail, I can't go through all of them, but we had Rye Guy, as well as Frankie the Mick, and Deaf Skull 6996. They all said Jim Beam
No way.
was one of their favorites, and also Frankie the Mick said Jim Beam and a Green Hornet cigar to end my night. So that'd be cool.
Never had a Green Hornet cigar.
You should try that out. Green Hornet, if you're listening, send us some cigars. We'd love to try it out.
It's weird. It's like some people. I wonder if it just comes down to, where you're at in life, because some of these, like Eagle Rare and Blanton's, I feel like are a bit of, they're way above the bottom shelf.
Yeah,
like that's maybe like third shelf, kind of bourbon.
Oh, I know. It's my fault. Okay, so there's an autocorrect.
What'd you do?
Here, let me change it right now. I wrote bottle shelf, not bottom shelf.
All right. Wait, I see bottom shelf.
All right, maybe I did. Well, where did I see? Oh, never mind.
No. I think some people are just saying like that these are like their go-to, like maybe everyday bourbons. But either way, yeah, Jameson, actually, I would probably put on the bottom shelf, because I think Jameson is a little overrated, despite the fact that I'm an Irishman. I just, I don't know. I'd have to talk to like people who live in Ireland and who are more attuned to Irish whiskey. I'm definitely more of a bourbon guy, which is why we're kind of doing more bourbons here. Yeah. But yeah, the Caribbean cask is about $75, so that's a little steep. Eagle Rare, I think, is around 50. Yeah, and Blanton's, I think, is also up there in like 75. So like, yeah, I mean, maybe if you have a bottle that you take away from every once in a while, it's going to be Eagle Rare.
When I said bottom shelf, I meant cheaper than your internet bill.
Yeah. Well, I think typically like the stuff that we're sampling usually runs about $10 to $20.
Yeah.
Like, no matter where you are.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for that feedback. If you have anything, if you do want to chime in, go ahead to our Instagram.com/gentscofflaw. Click the little Junk Whiskey June post and leave us a comment. Let us know what you're drinking this Junk Whiskey June. Maybe we should put out in advance what we're drinking so people could go ahead and drink along with this podcast and enjoy it with us.
That's actually not a bad idea.
We're going to take
don't do it. Just don't do it stuck in traffic, please.
Exactly. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our Father's Day gift guide. Hello, gentlemen scofflaws. Thanks so much for being a loyal listener of the show, and your feedback and support is really what keeps us going. It means a lot to us, so sincerely, thank you again. Now, if you're a fan of the show and you want to take your support to the next level, why not support the show on Patreon? We offer all sorts of extras on there, like outtakes, extended interviews, a bonus movie podcast, and behind-the-scenes content. Better yet, we have options that start as little as $1 a month. You pay more for that at a parking meter to go in and grab a cup of coffee at Starbucks. See what I did there? If you're interested in helping support the show, please check out patreon.com/gentscofflaw or click the support link on the website. Again, that's patreon.com/gentscofflaw. We look forward to having you as part of our team. All right, Donovan. It's the moment everybody's been waiting for all year.
Yep.
The Gentleman's Scofflaw Father's Day gift guide. Now, we use the Father's Day as an excuse mid-year to throw together some gifts and gadgets that we think you gentlemen scofflaws will enjoy. You don't have to be a dad. You could just be, or you don't have to be giving these gifts to your dad. You can be giving it to your significant other, a sibling or somebody you want to.
Significant mother.
Yeah. So this works.
Very inappropriate.
Significant
on
mother.
Father's Day.
Just give it to, these are for anybody. If you're shopping for a dude that hopefully, this will help you pick out some interesting things. Donovan and I kind of went over some ideas. We both brought some stuff to the table that we like and enjoy and thought would be cool to kind of share with you. We did this last year and at Christmas before. Sometimes the items, especially last year, we had some items that were a little bit steeper in price, and then we had items that were really, really like under $10.
Yeah, like stocking stuffers and stuff.
Yeah, so this kind of falls in line with that, although we're still on the lower end. We know it's kind of a hard time for a lot of people, and so we didn't go too crazy on a lot of these ideas. And a lot of these, you could just click the link in our description and go ahead and grab them on Amazon and have them to yourself in a couple of days. So if you're listening to this over the weekend, you could have it in time for Father's Day next weekend. Also, make sure you use those links because that also helps support the show. So that's a little way to thank us for giving you these hot tips.
The show.
All right, let me pull up the show notes here. The first thing on the list, and I'll talk about this, even though I'm not a good representative of this today because I haven't trimmed my beard yet today, and there's a reason for that. I recorded something that is being taped. More of it's being taped tomorrow, and I wanted to be consistent with my look. So
thank you for explaining. So I was really wondering. I was like, geez, why it's Jordan's
I'm a little scraggly today.
Yeah.
But first up on the list is for you men with facial hair. I've been rocking the facial hair for a couple of years now. I kind of go in between facial hair and non-facial hair. But I've got kind of a mustache and beard set from our good sponsors at Phoenix Shaving. And so the first thing I've got here is Dapper Doc's Mustache Wax, which is a great mustache. It's basically a great mustache wax that helps it's almost like a pomade for your mustache. So if you get it kind of falling in front of your lips or whatever, you could put that in there and comb it out of the way and it'll stay in place. And also if you did want to do like a handlebar or you had a soul patch or something like that, you can use this for that that same reason. The other thing I have is a wooden beard comb from Phoenix Shaving, which could also use for your mustache as you're styling it, or for spreading beard oil onto your beard, which also from Phoenix Shaving, I've got some Cavendish Beard Oil, which is, by the way, if you're looking for beard oil, they've got the best price stuff. You get 2 ounces for under $10, which for any of you who have bought beard oil before in the past, you know that's a good deal. And if you buy the beard oil, it comes with a comb. So, I mean, you can't go wrong.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
So what do you got there, Donovan?
So I just recently actually bought this because I've been looking for an everyday carry knife, and I was kind of looking through a couple different options, and I stumbled upon Gerber, which not the baby food, the actual knife company.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an Air Ranger knife. It's pretty awesome. It's very light, and as you can see, it's fairly, small in the hand to the point of where it doesn't become intimidating. You can kind of take it into. You could probably take this into school. You could take it into work. People aren't going to flip out. But yeah, anyways, I thought I'd recommend this for everyday carry because actually I bought a couple knives, some of which from Gerber, and some of them were just not great. This is not assisted opening, but it was just one of those where it has the simplicity that I think a lot of people are looking for. Yeah. And like I said, it's light. It's got a good grip. It's got a nice, very nice edge. And I've been really happy with it over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it looks. I like that kind of all blackout look, like the kind of matte black.
Yeah, the blackout look is cool. Yeah. I feel like you can get way too tactical with it and go. Yeah, I was even debating on the serrated versus, straight edge. But for everyday carry, I was like, may as well just go with the straight edge. But honestly, I think that Gerber is a pretty good company. They have a lot of different knives. So you can you don't just have to get this one. You can get some of their multi-tools or some of their fixed blades are pretty good too. Yeah. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this for dads and dudgets.
And I think that they're what do you call it? Endorsed by Bear Grylls, right? Or he's endorsed by them. Right?
Bear Grylls has a line with them. I know my little brother actually, one of his first knives was a Bear Grylls little pocket knife. Yeah. And then Tim Kennedy, aka Captain America, he also is endorsing Gerber, which I say, you know what? If Tim Kennedy endorses it, I'm on board because that guy has clearly, he's been places and done some stuff.
He's done some stuff.
His gear needs to be good to go. So
fun story. I actually gave him oiled him up and gave him a massage before he waterboarded my brother a few years ago on live TV.
That's a story that you could tell all the holiday parties.
You could find it somewhere if you look for it.
He might kill you eventually. That story. I feel like I need to stop this guy from telling people he massaged me on Christmas.
The next item I have on the list here is kind of in line with the Gerber thing. And there's actually, the book opens with a quote from Bear Grylls, but it's a book, and it's called 100 Deadly Skills, written by our guest from last week, Clint Emerson. He's a Navy SEAL. You might want to go listen to that episode. Very interesting guy.
That's a great episode.
The cool thing is this whole book is also illustrated by, sorry, I'm blocking the camera, by I should have written his name down. Ted Slampiak,
Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah, Ted Kaczynski. Slampiak, who does all the Art of Manliness illustrations too.
Oh yeah, I thought that was the guy.
So what's cool is you can open the book to any page, and there's an illustrated guide with a quick write-up. You don't have to read it in order. It's just got all sorts of cool skills. And it's just it's kind of fun. You can kind of fantasize that you were in an action movie or something. If you're ever in these situations where you'd need this stuff, you would know it. And you can kind of leave it as a bathroom reader. You just leave it in the bathroom and open it up and read about a new skill every time you're in there doing your business.
And there's two of them too, right?
Yeah, there is.
Two. There's that one, and there's the wilderness one.
Yeah, the wilderness one too. This one is more urban kind of skills, prepping skills, and the other one is more wilderness kind of stuff.
And he's coming out with a third one soon, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, catch up on these great reads.
Definitely. I'll go on to the next one here too. I know we've talked a lot about this. We always feature some sort of watch or timepiece. I think we have in the last couple of them. I've been wearing this in this episode. This is a Casio, what they call is the A164, AW164. I forget the model number. And Donna was laughing at me.
Remind me of right now is John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when he's trying to bribe the guy into giving him a hotel room, and he's is it a Casio?
I think so. Yeah,
it's something similar, and he's laying it on his hand, but it's just this compared to Steve Martin's Rolex. It's what?
It's so cheap. But that's one of the things that's cool about this thing is it's under $20. I recommend this model. Well, again, we'll link to it in the article. You could follow along reading the article. By the way, I should have mentioned that earlier. But this is the bigger model, and it's got the Indiglo light. I don't know if you can see it because it's daytime. Electroluminescence light, so it's got a light up screen for nighttime. But it's just a cool kind of retro watch. Pardon me?
You can see the Indiglo in daytime. We'll give you one for free.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a cool watch. Funny enough, it's been around since the 70s. Also popular watch with terrorists for making bombs, apparently.
Apparently, it's also popular with spec ops from that era too. Because there was wasn't there like a specialized version that was like?
Well, you're thinking of the G-Shock, watch. No,
I don't know if it's the G-Shock. I think it's I think the Casio actual the simplistic one, they upgraded it just a little.
Okay.
It wasn't quite the G-Shock, but in the early 90s, I just remember somebody talking about how a lot of guys used that watch because it was just super simple.
Yeah, it's super simple. It's cheap. Like if you break it, it's no skin off your back. Also, a lot of guys will buy these and modify them because they're easy to take apart, and they might do a blackout screen where they replace the screen or paint it so you don't see any of the writing or that kind of stuff. But it's definitely worth it. At under $20, you could find them from anywhere from $15 to $20 depending on the day on Amazon, and it's just kind of a cool retro thing. It's good to kind of upgrade your kind of, I don't know, if you've just got a workout watch or whatever, it's just kind of a cool casual thing you could throw on.
And people be like, and if you want to have a metal bracelet watch, it's a great place to start.
Yeah, exactly. Donovan, what's that next thing you got there?
Oh, okay. So we got the Smith & Wesson tactical pen. I'm all about knives and tactical pens these days. So this is as you can see, it's basically, it's a metal pen with a point on it. And this is something that actually, going back to October, I was looking for a gift for my little brother, and my neighbor, my landlord, actually had a tactical pen on him, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he was like, "Yeah, you never know when you may need to defend yourself." And I was like, "Okay, weirdo." Paranoid much? No, but
and then 2020 happened.
Yeah, exactly. And then I immediately got mugged by him with the tactical pen. Fun story. Anyways, so I was like, yeah, you know what? That's cool. That's something that you don't see every day. It's kind of out there, but it's kind of on the fringe. But the way I see it with these is it's a great thing. It's kind of like stocking stuffer. I think you can get them for $20 to $30, so it's not crazy expensive. Yeah. This one I got for $30 in particular. But yeah, like I said, everyday carry, and it's a good way to defend yourself. It's also great to have a pen that's solid and that, you can kind of show off and actually looks like something a little bit more permanent. And you can carry it in your car. You can kind of, do whatever. And it's masculine, I'd say, it's a good masculine gift.
It is.
So, I'd throw that out there.
I've got a little bonus thing too. Another option for a pen that I like too. This is the Fisher Space Pen, and it's a little tiny, or they call it the Bullet Space Pen. So it's I don't know, it's the size of maybe a bigger Swiss Army pocket knife. And it's very smooth, and it's kind of rounded, so it fits in your pocket really well. And then when you open it and expand it, it becomes almost like a full-size pen. Small full-size pen, but it's cool because
it's got that space age kind of sleekness to it. I like it.
With space back in vogue this year, with the SpaceX launch and the Space Force TV show, why not go? It comes in a cool box too, which I lost the box because I don't know what I did with it, but it looks like it's the moon. It's looks like it's on the surface of the moon, embedded in the moon, which is kind of cool.
It looks like it could. It also looks like it could re-enter our atmosphere just effortlessly, and then impale some poor kid.
And the cool thing is too, it'll write underwater and in the rain, and also it writes upside down for all you Seinfeld fans.
Meanwhile, the Russians just used a pencil.
Exactly.
Bastards. Soviet bastards.
So those are two options for pens. Both of them are cool. I've got the same Smith & Wesson one too. It's really awesome. And that'll screw somebody up.
Yeah, you just poke them in the face with it, basically. Like, just aim for the eyes. Seriously, that's the idea. Is like all you need is something pokey and stabby. Yeah.
The next item I have here is really cool. This is kind of falls into it's kind of novelty, but also very practical, and it's great for this summer where you might be. Who knows because of COVID, but say you might go for a hike or a trip or a camping or go to the beach. This is a backgammon set by Sondergut or Sondergut. I don't know how to pronounce their name. I've seen it said both ways. But it is designed for backpackers, and it is a brown leather suede roll-up backgammon game. And when you unsnap it, you can roll it out. And it's all suede and leather, and there's a side pocket. Sorry, it's hard to do this in front of a webcam. I'll do some B-roll so you guys can see it or some pictures. You unzip it, and inside you got all your dice, your chips, your doubling cube, everything in there. So you can just lay it out onto the sand or on a picnic table or wherever you want to lay it out and play backgammon wherever you are, and then roll it back, put it back in your ruck, and move on your way.
Well, can we just say, like, how much of an underrated game backgammon is?
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have found this out over the course of the last, couple months that we've been cooped up.
I feel like it's kind of like a gentleman's game, too, And this is has a really cool gentleman's scofflaw aspect to it, where it's like, there's something about backgammon that just kind of looks like, it looks maybe like it's more like a gentleman kind of accoutrement. And then when you put in this leather roll-up form, it kind of gives it a rugged kind of feel to it.
'Tis fashionable, but rugged.
And it's a fun game because if you've never played it before, it's got the kind of strategy of like a chess game, but it's got the randomness and the chance of a dice game. So that mixed together makes for a very interesting game. And it's cool because that means that a beginner can have luck and beat somebody who's really good strategically. And so you never know where it's going to go. It keeps it interesting.
Truth.
Also, the next item I have on here, Donovan, we've talked about this before.
Yep.
I've got it's a training program that you can couple with some kettlebells. It's called Simple and Sinister. It's by Pavel Tatsulin. And I've been doing this program.
Very cool guy.
Yeah. He's a Russian former, he trains special forces with kettlebells. And I've been doing this program for the last couple of years, and it's helped me out a lot with like flexibility and just better core strength and everything. And especially for some of the Goruck stuff that we've done.
Yep.
It's like basically you need two kettlebells to start out, and I'll link to some that we think are good here that you can buy. But it's called Simple and Sinister because it is a very simple workout plan. All you do is a warm up and then two main moves, which are kettlebell swings and Turkish get-ups, and then you do a stretch, a cool down stretch at the end. And just that combination of the swings and the get-ups and the way that you kind of start out incrementally, it doesn't feel like necessarily you're doing a lot in the beginning, but after like 4 weeks, you realize how much stronger you get. It's like shocking how much stronger you get from doing the program. So you can get the book for under $20, or you could also look up online and find some people post blogs of what the program is. But you just need if you're a man, you'll probably need a 35-pound kettlebell and a 53-pound kettlebell to get started, and then you could just buy heavier ones as you move up.
Yeah, Pavel's great. Pavel. He's great. I've listened to interviews with him on Art of Manliness, Joe Rogan. He's just, he's pretty badass dude. Definitely knows his stuff.
He does. He's funny too. He's
a funny guy.
He doesn't take himself too seriously. And if you ever watched any of his video training stuff, it's like he kind of plays on the whole Russian thing and like calls everybody comrade and like turns it into a gag. But it's definitely worth checking out.
What was that one meme that I saw recently where it was like, it's like that meme format when it's like when a British man calls you governor, when a Southern woman calls you sugar, when a Southern woman calls you honey, when a black woman calls you sugar, when dad calls you champ, and then when a drunk Russian calls you comrade, and then it has like the face, the eyes going like Super Saiyan.
That's funny.
Anyways,
that's good. Donovan, what's that next item there on the list?
King Cubes is the next one on the list, Jordan.
Yes,
and in this case, this brand is called Bella Vita, and they're oversized ice cube trays. Is basically that's the name of the game here. And the whole idea, I actually, the reason these are still in their wrapping is because I have bought these for my father for Father's Day, and the charm of the oversized ice cube is that it actually keeps more water from seeping into your drink when you put it on the rocks, because you have I think ultimately it's like it takes longer for the larger mass of the ice cube to melt.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a bunch of different ice cubes, most likely they're all just going to kind of become, that like watery mess that ruins your drink. And as we know, being bourbon drinkers and, Scotch drinkers, you don't want to ruin your drink with a bunch of water if you don't intend to.
Yeah.
So if you want it on the rocks, I would say go with the oversized King Cube ice tray. And it's nice and, it's silicone, it's rubber. It's kind of fun to make the ice cubes and stuff.
Yeah.
You just stick it in the freezer. It's pretty standard. So, yeah, that's what I'll say.
You sound like you're talking to 5-year-olds. It's fun to make the ice cubes. You can put them in and then you pull them out a few hours later and they're solid.
Yeah, kids. Yeah, if you're ever going to, for when all you preschoolers are making your gin and tonics, this is the way to go, during craft hour.
I enjoy them, too, because they do take longer to melt, and I'll use them too. Like in a cocktail, they're great for an old fashioned. They're like, that's like,
oh yeah.
Because I think back in the day, they would just chip off a block of ice and put it in the early days of the old fashioned and leave it in there. So it's kind of like that it's kind of more traditional in that sense, and it doesn't water your drink down too quickly. And you can kind of control how it waters down by like stirring it to like kind of up to the right level and then leaving it, and it'll kind of stay that way for a little while. But yeah, I've been using them for a while. I love that, especially the silicone ones. I like that you could just pop them out, invert them, and just like they pop out easy. Unlike some ice cube trays that are just a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
to
you
pop
don't have
ice
to
out.
you don't need an ice pick to to get the ice out of the thing.
And what I'll do before parties, if I know there's a party coming up like on the week, I'll just like make them like twice a day, and then I'll fill up like some Ziploc bags of the King Cube so I could just have them for cocktails.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
that's a smart move.
All right, the next thing on this list I've got here for you gentlemen that like cold brew. Here's a way that you can make it at home. And it's a mason jar cold brew maker. There are a lot of companies you can get this from on Amazon. The company I ordered from is back ordered currently because of I guess there's some of the ball jars that this company uses are they're backed up in production because of the COVID stuff. So but there are tons of different ones you can buy on Amazon, and you could also just buy the mechanism that turns whatever jar you have into a cold brew maker, which is kind of cool. Basically, it's super simple. You have a mason jar. You have this big wire mesh cone filter that you fill up with your coffee grinds.
Nice.
And you just put it into the jar, and it seals up. I'm going to be careful here because I got a lot of electronics around me. I'll show what it looks like. There's no grounds in it, but because I made this earlier. But basically, it goes into this jar, and you just let it sit for 12 to 24 hours. You put the top back on, and then when you're done, you take the cone out, rinse it, and then you can just pop the lid and pour yourself in cold brew. So It's very simple to do, and it makes it cheap to have cold brew at home. I don't know if you bought cold brew concentrate, but that adds
up. Whether you buy it concentrate or from something like what is that expensive, overpriced coffee company,
Starbucks?
Groundworks. Yeah, that too. Oh man. Speaking of coffee, let me just go off on Starbucks for a quick minute, so that we can sell more of these cold brew things. I frickin' went to Starbucks. I took my little brother into work the other day, and I thought, you know what? I woke up before noon. I deserve something. So I decided to go to Starbucks, and I go through the whole drive-through line, and I get a cold coffee that I didn't even ask for.
Oh, nice.
I wanted a hot Americano.
Oh, never mind. I thought they gave you a bonus cold coffee.
A lukewarm. I shouldn't even say cold. It was a lukewarm, and I was just like, anyways, it was very demoralizing. That was something. I should have just gone in and complained, but I
you just took it. You just bent over and took it.
That's probably one of the reasons I'm so frustrated is because I'm like, you pussy. You should have just gone there and torn somebody's heads off. So yeah, just knocked some heads in your V-neck undershirt and shorts.
Look at all the sweat I got from holding the jar against me. It looks like I'm just like sweating like crazy on my shirt.
I think I don't know if that was from holding the jar against you. I think that was there before.
Was it? I don't think it was that bad.
It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot for sure. Other thing on the list here, which I don't know if I told you this, Donovan. I got really into making street tacos at home this past month.
Oh yeah, right.
And I've figured out how to make basically brisket tacos at home, and I can leave. I'll put the recipe on our website, and it's really simple to follow if you have a slow cooker. But one of the things with street tacos, right, because you're using soft corn tortillas, is it's hard to like keep together and lay out on a plate. It's like it's hard to. You need a big plate to either fit them all on or somehow kind of jerry rig it. So what I found on Amazon are these stainless steel. They're taco holders like you would have at a restaurant. So these you could just sit your tortillas in them and then fill them up, and then you can put them on your plate or just take them like that. The cool thing also is if you have a grill and you like to make your own hard shell tortillas, you could just put your corn tortillas on this and throw it on the oven rack or on your grill, and then you can actually make hard shell tortillas at home.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Good times.
Nice to keep things simple,
Nice to keep things simple. Donovan, what's that one? That one. I don't know if you updated here, but
I'm updated. I for some reason my internet was not working.
This one here about the series.
Yes, the Jack Carr Terminal series, which I'm actually a big fan of. I know, there's that joke. I don't know. Have you seen those? Have you seen those insurance? I think they're Progressive commercials where it's the guy who's like the life coach who is supposed to keep you from turning into your parents once you become a homeowner.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and there's that one part where he is sitting behind the guy and he's like, now, who else reads books about submarines? And then the guy's just like, my dad. He's like, yeah. And it's true. I've gotten into some, fiction lately because I feel like the world is crazy, crazy enough as it is. Yeah. Why not, go into some fiction to kind of escape. And I used to be a fan of Tom Clancy. My dad has always read Tom Clancy or Clive Cussler, all those, those great kind of masculine fiction guys. And recently I found out about Jack Carr, who's actually an ex-Navy SEAL. But despite being an ex-Navy SEAL, he's also massively creatively talented, at least in writing. So anyways, he came out with this book series called the Terminal series, which all features this character who's sort of, like I would say based off, his experiences and everything like that. But it's really, really good. It's really, really good stuff. Comes highly recommended from guys like Joe Rogan and, all sorts of people. So, and also on top of that, they're coming out with a series of it, like a Netflix series, or I don't know if it's Netflix or if it's some streaming series with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's production company is doing it. So read the books before the series comes out, so you can be one of those pricks or preeks who says like, oh, I read the books. The books are so much better.
The books,
But yeah, anyways, I find these, you can find them on Audible, or you can get the books, which the covers are pretty freaking awesome. I like the covers and everything. So, it's a good, give dad a little bit of a bedtime reading.
Exactly. And if you guys want to go ahead and get your free audio book, go ahead to audibletrial.com/JenScofflaw, and you'll get your first free audio book. And it might as well be the Jack Carr Terminal series. You could also just click the link in the show notes. We'll link to where you could buy a physical copy of the book on Amazon.
I think the series, right now it's Terminal List, Savage Son, and I think the third one might be Savage Son. I don't remember what the second one is, but I'm still on the first one because I'm a terrible reader. But it's great. I love it.
That's awesome. I got to check it out too. I got 2 credits on my Audible that I haven't decided what to do with, so I'll have to get that.
Dude, throw one of them. Whenever I have 2 credits, I always throw one at fiction and one at nonfiction.
Oh, that's a good idea. I got to start doing that.
Balance yourself out.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back with the remaining Father's Day gift guide ideas. Men or women, this one's for you. Let me take a second to talk to you about Goruck. Now, you've heard us on this show talk about their awesome endurance events, which are, great for fitness and team building. But of course, they are known for their amazing gear. Some of the best gear in the world, actually. I myself own a GR1 rucksack for all my rucking and training. I also have one of their 30-pound ruck plates, which is so convenient because I could just drop it in the laptop compartment on my bag, and I have a weighted ruck. It's super cool. But one of my all-time favorite things that they offer are their sandbags. Now, if you've never trained with a sandbag, you're in for a treat. I love that you can keep it in the trunk of your car and take it to the park, and you have a gym anywhere. Ever try doing sandbag man makers with 60 pounds? I mean, you get a fun and very hard training session in really quickly. It's a big bag of suck in all the right ways. Now, even if you're not in the rucking, they have tons of sleek apparel for the outdoors in addition to their gear that is tough as nails and built to military standards. Also, their apparel and gear offer their scars a lifetime warranty, so you buy the item once and that's it. You're set for life. But you know what the greatest thing is about Goruck? All of it is made in the good old USA, and by Special Forces veterans, mind you. It doesn't get more badass than that. That's right, America. To check out Goruck gear, go to gentlemanscofflaw.com/Goruck, and anything you buy through that link helps support the show. That's gentlemanscofflaw.com/Goruck. Whether it's for your fitness regimen, your outdoor lifestyle, or just, a great bag for everyday carry, you're going to want to check them out. Goruck, built in the USA. All right. Final few here, Donovan. This kind of is in line with the summer again. Maybe going camping, maybe going to a national park, maybe putting together some backyard fires for your family to gather around.
Some fires,
Hopefully
like
not a
citizen.
business.
Yeah.
So right here I have.
Oh gosh, that was scary because there was a good amount of dead air time before you came back. Before you came back to with an axe.
This is an axe. Now this is a Trail Boss by Cold Steel, that make tons of great knives and equipment that you could buy for tools and stuff, or stuff for self-defense. This is called a Trail Boss axe, and it's what they call a bushcrafting axe because it is lighter. It is almost the size of a full axe, as you can see sort of in my video here. I'll back up.
It's like a mid-size axe.
Yeah, it's like a mid-size axe, but it's also lighter a lighter head, but it's got, you can see the way that the head is cut here, where the cheek kind of goes way back. That's designed to give you more of a choke on the axe, so you can use it for carving and bushcrafting if you needed to make feather sticks or do fine motions with it. It's a great camp axe because it's like light, but it's still not like one of those little tiny cheesy hatchets that'll break on you. But you could still actually do some actual wood chopping with it.
Please leave the cheesy hatchets out of this.
Exactly. But yeah, and the sheath I bought separately, but I could link to where you can get that too. You can get this for under $30. It's one of the most top rated axes on Amazon, and also Wrangle Star. I don't know if you follow him on YouTube. He works for like the Forestry Association, whatever they call that, and he actually recommends it as his favorite cheap axe. So that's how I found out about it. And actually, Johnny Boy gave this to me for my birthday last year. So,
oh, that's awesome. I fully endorse that message.
And another item here. Also in with the camping. Sorry, these are big items, so I have to reach out of frame to grab them right now. This also could accompany you when going on your backpacking. Well, not backpacking trip, but your car camping trip. Do you know what this is, Donovan?
Isn't that like a toast maker? I've seen those, like where you like put 2 pieces of bread in and you can like basically toast your bread over a fire.
Yes,
pretty easily.
It's more than that though. That is a basic function for it, which is great.
Way to make me look stupid.
No, but I'm just saying I thought that too originally, like, well, who needs like something to make just toast? They're actually called pie irons. So a pie iron is basically 2 pieces of cast iron, which you need to season, because like all good quality cast iron, you kind of have to get it set up and break it in the beginning. But we'll
do a video about that.
Yeah, and this is a double pie iron, and the idea is, yes, you use bread as your kind of outer layer, but you can make basically any sort of what they call hobo pie. So if you want to make like, say you want to put like some pie filling and some cheese in one, and then you basically grill it over the flames. That way you make a little hobo pie. But also what I like to do with this is when we go camping, I make breakfast sandwiches on this. Like I'll literally put toast on there.
Yeah, I could see that. I could almost even see making like grilled cheese or something on it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I put cheese and ham in there, and I make a little kind of divot and put 1 egg in there on both of them, and then I'll put them on over. You just basically rest them in the coals, and it cooks, and then you got a full hot breakfast sandwich. And like I said, you could do all sorts of pies. You could even do hot dogs or stuff in there. You could do meats in here. You could grill chicken on it, all that stuff. It's kind of a neat little rustic way to make good food while camping.
Yeah, for sure. It's a nice, like, kind of all-in-one thing. So and I'm sure cleanup is a little bit easier than having to use, multiple things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end up using like paper plates and then we'll just rinse this off, afterwards, and then just burn the plates in the fire. It works pretty well.
That's the way to do it. Leave no trace,
What's that next item there, Donovan?
Next up, we have the Black Diamond Headlamp, which we have had lots of experience with on our Gorucks. It is a nifty little thing. There's several different versions, but it's got the basic one that we have here is great for look at this model of models, Derek Zoolander. But this one is great because it's got multiple different lights built into it. It's got I think just the regular standard dimmable light. You can go through different intensities, and then you can also turn on the red, which keeps your night vision intact in the dark. Yeah. So if you're doing something like a Goruck and you don't really want to be seen, or maybe you just don't want to bug people with a bright light, you can switch over to the red. I keep this in my trunk for when I have an issue on the road. I also just keep it in case of emergencies, because look at it. It's basically it's a headband. It's very light. Yeah. it's pretty cool, and it's got an adjustable thing. So I would say this is great. I even sometimes have used this grilling actually in my yard when I don't want to turn on my yard light and like flood the neighborhood with light. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it comes in super handy, and I use it too. Like if I go rucking at night, even though I might not need to see the road, I put it on the flash mode so that cars can see me come down the street. It's also got reflective pieces all over it, so it's definitely a good thing for any kind of nighttime activity.
Right.
And the Goruck too, like these are mostly waterproof. So like if you're doing a Goruck challenge or something, or you're out in the rain, you have to get in the water. They still work after getting wet, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you really have to put you can put it through a ton of abuse. So that's what's pretty awesome about it.
And it's so much more practical than a flashlight, because you could use this like a flashlight if you wanted to handle it. And
you also don't look like an idiot wearing it. I feel like even right now, like you look like people are probably like, what is that on his head? But like you look at least like I've seen the ones where they have the one strip going down the middle of your head and it splits your hair into two. And it's just like, who's gonna wear who wants to wear that? I think I have one of those, and every time I took it out I was like, I feel like a clown. Anyways,
it makes you look like Sideshow Bob with two, at least for me, two curly halves.
Sideshow Bob.
All right, which brings us to our final one, which I'm going to reach around and grab here. The Goruck Mac V1 Boots.
Yep.
Now, these boots are, for any of you that are into rucking or doing any sort of hiking, especially urban hiking, these are like the perfect kind of boots because they're super lightweight, but they've got the support structure of like an actual like hiking boot or hiking shoe or whatever you would call them. They're not super tready like some hiking boots, so they're kind of made more for urban kind of environments, but you could wear them on the trail as long as you were maybe going on some mud or something. But they are meant for rucking or for doing like Goruck challenges, and also just like they're kind of more athletic than clunky boots. So if you're planning on doing some kind of sandbag workouts at the park or whatever, and you're going to go for a ruck after, these are like the perfect hybrid kind of shoe to be able to wear.
They kind of go with Goruck's like original model, which is like a crossover product. Like you can wear it, like you could wear these in the wilderness and you'd probably be fine. And you could also wear them into the office and you'd look fashionable.
Yeah, they're nice, especially these are a little bit dirty because I wore them the other day, but I just put a little bit of mink oil, like brush them off, put a little bit of mink oil on there, like to just kind of rehydrate it and stuff and kind of, protect it. And they look like brand new, and it's crazy how well they stay nice. The cool thing about this is, unlike a lot of hiking boots that are made of Gore-Tex and water repellent things, which anybody who's ever worn any sort of like rubber boots knows that once you get water in your boots, it's a pain in the ass to keep hiking and having that slosh around in your feet. It's not good for your feet. It'll give you blisters and make things worse for you. But these actually, like the jungle boots from Vietnam, have drainage holes in the bottom of them. I don't know if you could see them. Let me flip the laces over. So they're designed to purge the water if you get any of it in your foot, so you can get in your foot, so you can keep moving. So you can keep moving. I've worn this for a bunch of long rucks. I've worn them on one Goruck challenge. They're super comfortable and lightweight, and they're definitely worth looking into. Also, because they have the Scars lifetime warranty. Basically, if something happens to them, or you just like wear them out, they'll replace them for you. So you buy them once, and you're done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting a pair of. I've been waiting on the Coyote Suede to come back into into stock.
That's the problem with Goruck, is that they're so popular. And their stuff sells out quickly. They're like on the cusp of kind of like a smaller company, but with like such broad appeal now that it's like you got to snatch those up when they're available.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hopefully they'll take over the world and, maybe give Under Armour or somebody like that a run for their money. All right. So that's it. Those are our 15 ideas for gifts and gadgets for dads and dudes. Let us know if there's anything else you would put on this list or would put on future lists. Also, again, please go ahead and click the article link in the description for this episode, whether you're listening on iTunes or wherever you listen or on YouTube. There's an article you could follow along that has all the links to where you can buy these things, and all those links actually help support the show. Also, if you don't buy anything from that Amazon link but you buy something else, that also helps support the show once you've clicked through that link. So why not take a look at it? Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening to our annual Father's Day gift guide. We hope that some of those ideas will be helpful. Again, if you want to follow us, go ahead and follow us on social media at GentScofflaw on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You could also go to gentlemanscofflaw.com, and you can support the show by clicking the support or shop links. The support will take you to our Patreon page, where you could support our show for just $1 a month. Or you can go to the shop link and buy some Gentleman Scofflaw branded gear to show it off to your friends.
Speaking of Father's Day items, that's a little bit of bonus.
Bonus. I don't know why we didn't put one. We've always put Gentleman Scofflaw stuff on. We forgot this year.
I think it went without saying this time around. I think we were like, you know where to go.
You know where to go. Yeah. Get a T-shirt. All right. Yeah. All right, Donovan. You are a gentleman and a scofflaw, my friend.
As are you, sir.
And all you gentlemen and fathers out there, you guys have a great week.
This has been the Gentleman Scofflaw Podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Visit us on the interwebs at gentlemanscofflaw.com.
Captain says his ice on the river. We ain't getting home if we don't break through. So damn cold, I can't help but shiver. Rise and shine, we got work to do. Hey!